Hello from Komotion, and welcome to our daily randoms.
Today I'll be rigging a simple human doll. So first let's create a skeleton. And call it doll. Now let's create a spine. I'm going to make it in the up direction. I'm going to keep the mirror type to neutral so it mirrors itself. I'm going to colour it yellow. It's going to add a base bone. This means the IK won't affect the first bone of the chain. It's good for pelvises. I'll keep the bone count at 1, as this is not a cartoony character, so we will not be increasing the bones on this rigging tutorial. So let's have a look at the spine count. We've got pelvis, and 1, 2, 3. Okay. We want to do 4. Let's move this out and click on roots. It's going to move the root to where the pelvis should be. It's also going to X-ray and ignore this. This has already been added to the random Komotion list, so if you just press on the doll, if you have it, or a mesh that you have, add it to your list, and then press ignore and X-ray. Just makes rigging easier. It's going to go on to 3FK, so I can move these around without changing the hierarchy or causing it to change. So I'm back into IK, FK. Make sure this is lined up. Right. So we have basic spine. It's going to change controller size, it's a bit small. A bit big. So it's 1.5. Okay. Let's check skin sizes. We'll go to utilities. Let's show this. Right. Probably going to make the skins a bit bigger too. So on skins to just like the boxes. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so we have a spine. Yeah, it's going to make some legs. And just this, I'm just going to play that, it's quicker. I'm going to set this direction creation. I'm going to set the creation down. I set the mirror type to right. I'm going to do the same for the other leg. So I'm going to except I'm going to set that to left so they can mirror each other. Also going to change the colours so that you can distinguish them when you're animating. I'm going to attach them to the bottom path joint. If this path X doesn't appear, just go into spline controls and press path joints, and then they should appear. These are generally what you want to be connecting your chains to in this tutorial. There are other connection methods, but for this tutorial we'll be using these. So we don't need to configure this chain. The only configurations we'll probably do later are the position and rotation locks. You don't want to do these when you're actually creating a chain in the first place, because it will just lock things. and that just makes things awkward. So once you've got your chains set up, then you want to press them, and then you can limit your controllers so that it's easier to animate later on. Like I did with the spine, I'm just going to start positioning these chains around so they match up with the mesh or geometry. And I'm just going to mirror this so that I'd have to do the same with the leg. Okay. Let's go into IKFK and go on to the top animation panel, press select chain, move these all at once. I take the snap off because snap makes things a bit weird in Maya, I find, when you're moving multiple objects around. I'm going to place the knee here, and let's place the ankle here. When it comes to animation, this control is pretty pointless apart from telling you what weight the IK is on in your chain. So in that sense it's useful, but when we start creating the feet, we'll make it so that they ignore the rotation of this chain, meaning that when I do move this around, it actually does nothing. It just makes animation easier later for when you're making feet slide along the floor. Let's just mirror the FK chain. We've got 2 legs there. Check the skin. Yeah, they're alright, that'll do. Right, so we have some legs. Next we'll do some feet. And again, just clone X. When you clone, usually an _C appears. Just delete those, it's just to allow you to know which chain is which. So for feet, we're going to make them go forwards, and I'm going to make this one right, and again forwards for the other foot, and I'm going to make that one go left, and let's change the colours, just so that we can distinguish which foot is which. Sometimes in orthographic view you can get confused, so colour coding is pretty good. Now for right in configurations, just press ignore parent. This is so that it ignores the rotation of the parent chain. And that's all we need to do at the moment. And set your count to 2, because we're going to use the foot for the toes as well. This is just a puppet foot. So we don't have bone roll or anything on this. Again, ignore parent, set 2. And we have some gigantic feet. Let's make them smaller. It's probably easier to do that. And take snap off. You see me go backwards and forwards and snap because I can never remember the shortcut key for it. Do one on the bottom. Yeah, have on the bottom. Zoom in a bit. And then we'll snap it to the end of that. And then we'll snap it to the end of the toe. Right, so we have another foot. Alright, we just press IKFK, select chain, and then just do mirror. And we have 2 feet. Just check skin sizes. Yeah, they're a bit big. Let's do 0.5. And I'd say the bone's okay. Controller 0.5. Don't need a master controller. And we'll do the same to the other foot. Controller size 0.5 and skin 0.5. Right. And just to show what ignore parent did, I now move this around. You'll see that the foot stays. Oh, it's on snap. Stays the same. Right, so we've created a few chains here. So I'm just going to make a pose freeze point. So this is just basically pressing freeze rig transforms. And all this will do is it will update the rig so that it knows that this is your reset point. So just to show what it means, I go to hide skins and grab an FK, grab this over here, and then press reset. Resets it. That's fine. Okay, so next we're going to make some arms. Let's have a look. So for the arms, I'm probably going to add on again base bone, because then the shoulders will not follow the IK that is given to the arm. It just saves me having to create a shoulder chain and an arm chain. I'm going to set its direction creation, so that's right, and then mirror right. Just going to clone this, press space bone, clone. Oh yes, get rid of the suffix, and then just change this to left left. The great thing about cloning is you don't have to have a chain present in the scene, and it copies across all the attributes that you've changed. The arm, we change that to a red. And the left arm, going to change to blue. Right, let's connect these to the top of the spine chain. So create 3 for each. Next, we're going to move the roots. Let's put it where the doll sphere starts, on the arm, or shoulder even. There we go, let's mirror that. Get that spot on to the arm. There we are. Okay, now the sphere is a bit lower than you'd want on this arm, but not to worry. When it comes to skinning this, moving this around, you can bend the arm the other way so that the IK doesn't go backwards. The IK can update, so we'll have a look into that when we've done the rigging and skinning side of this mesh. Now, just grab the end, put this where the wrist is. There we go. Alright, if we just press root, so it selects the root, we're going to mirror that. And I've gone to IK and FK, I'm just going to mirror that too. Now we have 2 arms. Just going to change controller sizes on these 2. These don't need to be too big. Check out if the skins are. Yeah, it seems a good size. Okay, let's next make a neck, which will also be the head. save your scene so far. Right, we're going to add, let's call this neck_head. I'm going to keep it in up neutral, so it creates upwards and it mirrors itself. I'm going to change the colour to a light yellow this time. Actually, let's change it to green. I'm going to put a base bone on it and a head bone. What this means is the top torus will be able to control the top bone and rotate it around. So you'd be able to skin the head to the top bone of this chain. It means I'll have to create 2 chains. So we'll create 2 bones, or 2 controller segments. I'll just drag these down. I'm going to slightly edit the mesh because the spheres seem to be misaligned. Let's just make ignore list off. Right, let's move the root of this chain. Let's put it to the center like that. Sphere. And then same for this one. And then same for this one. Let's do a top view just to check they are centered. Right, so all that's left. Right, so all that's left is the hands. Right, let's make a middle finger. So because this is a puppet hand, this is quite a simple setup. So for this you want a base bone, which will be the palm, and you want to make 4 bones, and also ignore parents. Also change the direction to right to right. Let's change the colour to a light red. Let's then change the controller size to 0.25. Let's make the bones a bit smaller too. The skins will probably need this as well. Right, set the chain and drag it in. Right, snap that here. By now you should just be able to kind of just follow along with what's happening if you've done this a few times. Now we have a middle finger. These controllers are still a bit too big. 0.1. There we go. So if you had more fingers, what you would want to do is attach all the fingers to the middle finger's root, and then just move fingers' roots to the top here on the palm. and then you just do 3 bones for each finger. Next we'll make a thumb. This is colour the thumb. And change controller size to 0.1. Change the skin to 0.25. Skins will probably need to be changed anyway there, it might be a bit too big. What we'll do, 3. No, actually no. All we'll do is we'll do base bone and 3. We'll just mimic how you'd have a normal hand for now. Just makes it more accurate when you animate. And also change the direction. So we want that forwards, front and right. There we go. And now do 3. Right, so we will grab IK and FK, select the chain as normal, and we will just drag these in. Make sure snap is off because it can create weirdness. Alright. So let's position this thumb a bit better. So for the thumb, we will keep the root at the wrist base, or possibly even slightly off, just so that it's easier to select the actual palm itself when you want to animate it. So we'll grab the root, and we'll just shift this over a bit. Now I'll grab the IK and FKs. Even on IK FKs, at the moment they're in FK, it's just the system, so don't take my word as law. And I've made the thumb wrong. Right. It's gone to maintain. I just realised, because we're going to make the thumb bone, actually show the other one. Yeah, I've made the finger wrong too. We should have put head bone on, because then we don't have to have an extra bone at the end. It doesn't affect animation, it's just that, say if you go to a game engine, it just makes more sense, because you're saving bones. Alright, hang on. Let's change the thumb a bit. So we've got maintain on. And we'll put head bone on. So it's just head bone we need. Yeah, head bone. Right. Right, so we've got head bone. We'll go on to the middle finger and we'll do the same. Okay. So now when I rotate this torus later, this will animate the topic with the bone at the torus. Check it's centered. So now we'll just make the second hand in the same fashion as the first. So if we just watch and follow, and we'll get the hand done quickly. Now these cloned chains will have the same features ticked on all of these. The only difference when we cloned them was that they were in a different direction. Now we've reset them by changing the direction and mirror. We can just simply go to the other hand and thumb and mirror across, and we will have created a hand. Got to set this up itself. There we go. I wonder why that wasn't working. Let's try again. And if it went correctly, you should have a mirrored thumb and a mirrored fingers. So let's take a look at the skinning panel. So for skinning this object, we'll first select the base of the rig so that the system knows that the object needs to be skinned to every single chain. So pick Collect from Selection. You'll now see a list of bones collected. Next we'll select the mesh and we'll apply a skin wrap. Let's have a look at how the tool did. We go to IK, FK, and select. Oh, let's press ignore first, so it's easier. Right. So to save a bit of video time, I'm going to cut out the skinning section for the rest of the vertices. I'll be using the normal Maya paint and skin weight tool, and we'll catch you after we've fixed vertices for each bone. So now we've completed the skinning process, or hopefully, we can take a look at the movements to see if we all match up. I'm just going to grab a joint. Do some tests. Take a snap off. Once you're happy with the skinning, let's look at a few basic features for this very basic rig. So firstly, we have the base. If you move this around, you'll see that hands and feet and everything follow with it. However, when I grab an arm, the hands don't follow. This makes hand and foot animation a lot easier. Now let's have a look at the IK and FK. So earlier we'd set up the chains a bit wonky on the arms, and I said we'd recorrect these. So what we'll do is we'll go and first press freeze rig transforms, because we are finished with building this rig at the moment. or until a later date whenever you feel like changing it. Now if we go into IK and FK and just grab the elbow and move it actual flat, we'll grab the wrist as well so that that goes with it too. And then we'll just mirror it. Oh. I must have restarted the thing. Let's try it again. There we go. Yeah, I think I restarted the thing. Okay, so then I should hopefully fix any IK issues. Well, there's no such thing as IK issues in this rig, it's just it's easier to understand at this point. Okay, so let's move that a bit more. Okay, so with the arms. We'll do the same with the legs. You can change the rig however you like. I'm just setting it up the way I want it. Right, so that for me will be my T-pose. Alright, so I'm going to press freeze rig transforms again, so that's going to update the pose. Let's take a look at IK and FK. So when your torus is blue, you can grab the nodes in between these joints. So it is blue, this is blinded, we're making it pink. And I can't for the life of me be bothered to go into preferences and change things. So I'll just rotate this around, just see that it's an FK. If I change it to IK, it doesn't matter where you select on the chain, if you press it, it will change to IK. So you move around, you can twist. Now if you want to go really into the twisting, you can grab the actual aimer. So right now it's pointing this direction. So if I bring this out a bit more, the more further you bring it out, the more you can tweak it more like accurately. Closer in, the more it's like less tweaking, more moving. So these change places when you're doing different IK angles, which we're not going to go into for this rig, because this is just a basic humans. However, for tentacles and things, this can be slightly crazy to use and fantastic. Anyway, this is a simple IK, so move this around. Lovely. And same with the other arm. You can go to IK2. And of course, you can grab more than one IK. If we go down to the legs, usually when people are rigging or creating a rig, depending on what kind of legs you have, they usually keep them in IK. So in this tutorial, we'll do the same thing. I'm going to lock them both in IK. So I'm going to press IK first, so they can both go red. And I'm going to press lock IK. Now what this means is now I can no longer flip between the two. And you will always be stuck in IK. This is apparently quicker for many rigs, so we'll do the same. It's entirely up to you if you want to do the same thing for the arms. I like working both IK and FK with everything except legs. Legs IK is just quick and easy, possibly lazy. And then we go on to the spine. The spine is really cool, so check that out. You can move it around. And this can also be put in IK and FK and updated. So it's up to you if you want to do dynamic IK changing, but for this I'm probably just going to use FK. If you want to find out about what dynamic IK changing is, it's just in the documentation. It's basically 6 directions of freedom, so the IK rotation planes can update whenever you like, as long as they're not locked. You just have to press the IK FK twice, so it flips between FK and IK. However, it is recommended when you do it after an FK. So it's like IK snapping, it kind of like cuts off the different sections between the dynamic changes so that you don't get any awkward IK flickering. And finally got the root, so this I guess we class the master controller right now, because I've locked the legs. So as you can see, when you overextend the IK, the legs don't point weirdly, and the only thing you get is hypertension of the IK with your animation. And then you can look around with the head. And in this particular case, you can take it off. Another controller is twist. So if you want to twist and grab a joint, I can rotate these around without affecting the hierarchy. So finally we have thickness. So if you go to thickness and you want to scale something, you can. And you can do it non-uniformly too. And of course, if you want to do this and then press freeze for transforms, you basically created a new T-pose. However, obviously when the rig comes into your game engine, it will carry over the scale, so it will change the way that your model looks. There are also other features that can be used for this rig. Like if you go into accessories and I select chain and then select chain accessory, I move this over here and then just position that to 100 and start ripping things off, and of course the main rig won't affect them, so you can visually like decapitate a neck off this rig. If I do accessories, they don't look pretty. So now we'll do a simple animation, and then we'll just carry it over to Game Engine to demonstrate that this can export. So once you have an amazing animation, you'll want to go to the Export panel, and this particular rig, we're going to do undo after export because it's a tiny structure and it's a small timeline. So that's probably best for this. So we want to select something from the rig structure. So I'll just grab something inside of here, which is a node from the structure. And then if I just ignore that, I'm just going to grab the mesh 2. And now we've done all of that, you just press Export Animation. So now we've got the export box pop up. Usually I do FBX, so export selection. Do the normal animation ticks. This particular one we don't need to do bake animation because it's already baked. And we'll just do bad animal. Humanoid. I'll do export selection. That's exported. Apparently there's problems with the constraints, which is normal. And then after that, you just press Finalize Animation Export, and it will just undo the entire process that has occurred to the export. Alternatively, to the export animation, you could just export the structure and the mesh if you wanted, just by doing export nodes. You just don't export the animation with it. So importing to a game engine is just like any other skeleton that you're importing. If you're in Unity, do the natural import for the FBX and all the components will appear inside Unity 3D. If you do an Unreal Engine 4, it's exactly the same. I've just made a folder here. I just do import, and go on to desktop, bad anim, and then you don't want to have a skeleton selected because for this I've imported the animation and the skeleton. Let's just go and check it's got a 0 frame so that you don't do any rookie mistakes for distorted structures when you're first importing the skeletons. That's been ticked. And then I think that's it. So have a good check. Yeah, so if you just import all, if I look at the anim, you'll now see my bad anim. And here we go. That is the basics. You have imported the doll thing. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial showing you from the basics of how to build a very simple human all the way into how to import into a game engine, and from there I guess it's following up with the game engine tutorials on anim trees and all that kind of jazz so that you can get this thing working in a game.